గుంటూరు జిల్లా మంగళగిరి మండలం నేరుకొండలోని ఎస్ఆర్ఎం యూనివర్సిటీలో ఈ నెల 4, 5, 6 తేదీల్లో ఇండియన్ అకాడమీ ఆఫ్ సైన్సెస్ 88వ వార్షిక సదస్సులు ప్రారంభం కానున్నాయి. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో ఎస్ఆర్ఎం యూనివర్సిటీలో మీడియా సమావేశం నిర్వహించారు.
6th November 2022. You are also kindly aware that this is the Science Academy which has been established the late Sir C.V. Raman, the world famous Nobel laureate. This academy attracts and elects well-established and extremely accomplished scientists of this country as fellows of the academy. If somebody says I am a fellow of this academy, means it's a great honor and prestige. When President Wagmare, the president of the Indian Academy of Science, Bangalore, called me, suggesting or proposing to organize 88th annual meeting of the Indian Academy of Science here, our visionary educationist, Dr. Satyanarayanan, readily agreed upon. I'll tell you, from Hyderabad airport, I sent a mail. Before I took some other flight, approval came. That's how our management works. Then we had a few discussions with the president and secretaries of the academy, with our vice chancellor, registrar, and others. The purpose of this annual meeting is the well-accomplished scientists will give talks. There are special lectures, public lectures. Our intention is that the students, faculty members of this university and neighboring institutions will get greatly benefited. Also, there is a chance to discuss about the latest S&T developments in the country. As I said in the morning, several new programs are being launched, such as National Hydrogen Mission, National Supercomputing Mission, Quantum Computing Mission. Also, I'll tell you, whatever scientific and technological development has happened in the last 1 century, it's happening in the last 20 years. The world is moving like that. So to discuss about the new S&T developments, okay, it includes basic sciences, applied sciences. This academy will focus and deliberate. Now, I request President of SRM University to speak to the press. Then we will move on to the President of the Academy.
It was started in 2017. It's almost been 5 years since we are here in this state. And now 2 batches of students have passed out of SRM University AP. We are providing several avenues of excellence for them, like when they are graduating, especially in the form of placements, higher studies, and entrepreneurship. So our students have done well in all these 3 arenas. They got good placements with the international companies. Like earlier it was Japan, and now we got placement in 5 countries, like for our students, which is around like 45 lakhs of rupees each. This includes USA, Sweden, UK, and so on. So apart from this, we believe that our students should not be job seekers but also job creators. So we have created an ecosystem which fosters entrepreneurship within the SRM University AP. And there is a separate directorate established for that. And our Vice Chancellor is working very closely and monitoring it very closely, so that SRM one day will be known, especially SRM AP will be one day known as the entrepreneurship hub for the state and for the country. And more emphasis will be laid on producing job creation and wealth thereby. And we are spending a lot of amount in terms of like funding the students while they are there. And so far, about 12 crores of rupees of entrepreneurship development has taken place through our like students initiative. And similarly, we focus on higher studies, and our students are doing good in Ivy League institutions and then top QS institutions. And apart from that, we lay a great emphasis on research. And the research in the sense that we understand that infrastructure is quite important for any university, but more than the brick and mortars, it is the faculty and the staff which are more important. And we have hired good faculty who are all PhDs either from IITs or from like universities abroad. So almost all our faculty have a foreign exposure. So through our contacts and networks and through their exposure to the foreign universities, the very teaching here is done in a different way, which is we call it as academic, which we call as active learning. So that is what we define as active learning, where the students come prepared to the classes and then they discuss the issues which they have faced during their studies at home. Rather than going by didactic lectures, here the active learning and the active learning classrooms which have been constructed, seeing the National Technology University, Hanyang Technology University, Singapore, the same kind of setup has been made here and we are working on it. So apart from this, we value for the experiential learning and we give the students exposure to the industry. And this is done by their internship for 2 times, like during their program here. And further, after their internship, they also get their placements through these companies itself. We feel that research is one of the very important component, and otherwise we would have been a college itself. The very reason we became a state private university and we have started here is that we need to flourish in research. And with our faculty's academic rigor and then the fervor in research, we have got about so far about 1,100 research papers. So within the short span of this time, and about 24 crores of the consulting and research projects, grants from different agencies. So I feel that it is quite an achievement for a university of just like 5 years old. And so with this background, we felt that, and we have always been fostering some relationship with the industry and also with the institutions which are promoted by the academicians and researchers. So we have been doing several skill development programs with the Andhra Pradesh Skill Development Council so far. And we feel that the corporate social responsibility is converted here into the campus social responsibility, and we get the students all across from Andhra and ask them to like go through these programs like which we conduct with the government and the private partners. So this time when we got the opportunity to do this with the Indian Academy of Sciences, we felt that it would be appropriate so that we bring a lot of researchers who are well known in their field, so that our faculty members, research scholars, students are benefited. And further, more to that, we have added one more thing, that is the Science and Technology exhibition, which was inaugurated by our Honorable Governor today morning. This is in collaboration with the Indian Space Research Organization and the Department of Atomic Energy. So we expect around 10,000 students or more to be visiting this science and technology exhibition, which has started like today morning. And already, though we were expecting 2,500 students only in the morning, so we got about 3,600 students. So the response is very good, and the lot of students from across Andhra Pradesh, especially CBSE students, are quite interested in coming over here and seeing this. So I feel this is a great opportunity for both the researchers who are going to come here to disseminate their knowledge and like in the and research findings, like using this as a platform. And also this is a great opportunity for the students who are interested in research in Andhra Pradesh to make use of this platform and to come and see SRM University and also interact with academic expert, research experts, like who are otherwise difficult to find in one place, like so many in one place. This is a brief about the Indian Academy of Sciences, the annual meeting here, and also
Rav has already mentioned to you about the Indian Academy of Sciences. We are based in Bangalore. We have little over 1,000 fellows. These are fellows elected to the Fellowship of Academy based on their outstanding contributions to research in sciences and engineering, and also great scholarly work conducted with good ethical practices. Little over 1,000, yeah. And we also have about 50 honorary fellows from abroad who bring in additional value to the fellowship in terms of their expertise and mentorship to the nation. So what do we do with this? You know, we have a small office in Bangalore of about 37 staff, and that office is engaged in facilitating the use of expertise of these 1,000 plus fellows, their willingness to work for the country in the domain of science and technology. So we work at many levels. One level is where the expertise of fellowship is used to develop white papers and guidelines for policies for the government in science and technology. Next level, we publish about 12 journals with thousands of papers every year in different areas of sciences and engineering, ranging from astronomy, physical sciences, biological sciences, genetics, engineering, geo, earth and planetary sciences, and so on. Yeah, and these journals receive from all over the world. In fact, Indian Academy of Sciences has a very long history of publishing, as founded by C.V. Raman in 1934. In fact, I was pointing out to my colleague that a person like Vikram Sarabhai published his first science paper in the Proceedings of Indian Academy of Sciences in 1940. Yeah, so we have a long tradition, and we are maintaining really high standards of publications, rigorous process of reviewing, and in a very fair manner. Yeah? More importantly, the Academy is funded by the Department of Science and Technology as an autonomous body, and hence we owe to our own people. So all the content of our journals is available for free. You know, these days people talk about open access journals, and entire content of our published papers is available for free on our website. We co-publish these journals with Springer Nature, which is of course a very well-known publication agency in the world, but we do have this very friendly arrangement with them where our content is possibly free on the web. The next is science education program. We think that's very crucial for our country. In that, of course, in some of these activities, the other two science academies of the country, Indian National Science Academy in Delhi and also the National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, have joined hands with us. So first of all, we conduct lecture workshops, training for teachers in different parts of India, from northeastern states to Kashmir to southern states. Next, we have a summer research fellowship program where lots of students from colleges apply for 3 months of summer research fellowship or 2 months of summer research fellowship. But typically, it's 2 months at a time, depending on their schedule. And they are selected based on their merit as well as sort of interest in science research. And they are placed to work for the summer in leading researchers' labs. Typically, they are our fellows and associates of the academy, but we also are open to sending them to other scientists in the country, depending on their research interest. So we are typically about close to 2,000 such fellowships, but in the recent years, because of pandemic, we had a little low in that activity. In this process, what happens is young generation get to travel to another place. We typically give them a lab which is not in their hometown. So they get to see another part of India, another culture. They get to work in a real research lab and see if they are really interested in doing that type of work in their career. So this has potential impact that those who get interested continue as research scientists or take up research in their career future. And in fact, we have a good track record. Lots of these summer research fellows have gone on to become directors of premier institutions in the country. Some of them have taken faculty positions. So I think it's a very important part of our education activities. I should point out that the academy also has a trust linked with it, they call Academy Trust, because the government mandate doesn't allow us to go to school children for outreach activities, and that part of the activities is coordinated by the Academy Trust. The fourth is we conduct discussion meetings, and in fact this annual meeting is a part of that domain of activities. We have 2 annual meetings in a year. One is called mid-year meeting in July, and one is the annual meeting typically in the month of November. And we are delighted to partner with SRM University, Andhra Pradesh this time. And the purpose of this is again, our newly elected fellows get to present their really exciting scientific work, research to public. And in this case, we prefer to go to regions where maybe exposure to science is a good idea, where opportunities may not be so frequent and common. So we reach out to the local people, and that's where we really appreciate the efforts of SRM to connect us with lots of people in this region, colleges and nearby universities. So through these meetings, I'll just tell you briefly what you expect in these next 3 days. And I first point out that the program has been formulated by Professor Rene Borges and another colleague of ours, Professor Vijay Mohan Pillai, who will arrive tomorrow for this meeting. This has, of course, exciting science lectures by fellows, newly elected fellows, which include biomedical engineering, non-communicable human diseases, how to use basic sciences to improve crop, and how predictions of monsoon can be made more accurate using computer simulations as well as other empirical data. We have 2 special symposia. These symposia are focused on some thematic areas of great current importance. One is green energy, where the focus is on hydrogen as a green fuel. All of you know, if you burn hydrogen, you get back water. And one way to generate hydrogen is to split water to get this green fuel. Another way is to use biological resources to generate hydrogen. In fact, you will see these are 2 thematic talks in this symposium. Next is, once you generate hydrogen, to use it, either you have to burn it or you could want to convert it to electricity. So that's where something called fuel cells are involved. And that's another talk in this symposium. And lastly, how to basically, I think, let me just check. To energy, all of you know nitrogen, which is so abundant in atmosphere. But to create ammonia from nitrogen is a big scientific challenge. And ammonia, as you know, is very crucial to many chemical industries. It's a raw product necessary for many industries. So to do this process in an energy efficient way, we need to do some kind of electrochemical catalysis, and that's the 4th talk in this symposium. So that covers green energy. We have another symposium which is really pertinent to what's happening today around us, and particularly floods that we have seen last year all over India. So first fundamental question is there a climate change that is leading to this type of situations? What is the cause for sudden rise in rainfall? Yeah, and once that happens, can we use advanced technologies like radars to monitor and say warn people ahead of time and engage with the society in sort of managing this type of disasters? So disaster management in the time of floods. And finally, floods also mean there are changes in geology. As you know, over a long time, rivers change their paths. So what is the dynamics, geohydrodynamics, which is changing on a shorter time scale than what we typically expect on geological time scale? So that's fourth talk in this symposium. So I really feel these two symposia will add great sort of value in connecting with our current problems of society. There are, of course, other talks on fundamental science, fundamental mathematics, and all speakers in this, all fellows who give talks are told in advance to pitch them at the level which is accessible to broader audience, because all these areas are interdisciplinary, and someone speaking in biology should be understandable to someone in physics and vice versa. So special efforts are encouraged to the speakers that they should make these talks easy to access to general audience. So I, of course, welcome you all to see what is interesting to you and listen to these talks. There are also two public lectures to understand other aspects of social sciences or arts, and that help us in connecting with society even better. So one talk is by Mr. Sainath, and that's about rural Indians in the age of digital technologies, how rural development is affected, what they feel in the current age of high-speed communication and digital technologies. And another talk is by Ananya Bajpayee, is on modern life of an ancient language. And these are typically evening talks. These are public talks, means these are open to everyone, and these will be also broadcast on YouTube channel. So these reach out to much wider audience who may not have been able to come here in person. I think with this I'll stop here by saying we do hope that we will have exciting science and also opportunity to excite young generation. We have invited teachers and some students who participate in this annual meeting. So we are hoping that it will be a really vibrant meeting with lots of interactions and generation of good ideas. I'll request Renee.
Tomorrow we will be joined by another secretary who is Vijay Mohanan Pillai, who is at ISER Tirupati, and he will come in tomorrow. I just wanted to add a few things that maybe Umesh didn't tell you, and that is also that we have a very vibrant associate program. Associates are not fellows, they are not yet elected, but they are, yes, elected to the position of a young associate. And I have a young associate right here who was a young associate and a very brilliant young associate. And so these young associates are there for 3 years, and their term can be extended for another period of 3 years based on their performance. So this is where we want to reach out to the younger scientists, because though we would like to have young scientists as fellows, sometimes we would like to reduce the mean age of our fellows so that more people are elected as fellows at a younger age, and we do hope that that will happen. But in order to encourage younger scientists, we have this Young Associate Program, which I will ask Ranjit later to say what he thinks about that, but we think that it's a very successful program. I just also wanted to say a little bit more about the two public lectures that we, as Professor Wagmare said, we choose people who we believe it is necessary for India to hear their voices, and we have a diverse set of voices that we would like India to hear. And of course, the important voice here is of P. Sainath. Many of you might know him, who he wrote this fantastic book on droughts and famines in India, and he has been traveling and working in rural India for a very, very long time. And the title of his book is Everybody Loves a Good Drought. P. Sainath gives every Indian a lot to think about. And that's why I hope that all of you will attend his public lecture tomorrow. And he is, again, as Umesh said, giving a voice to rural people. His point, and I'm paraphrasing him, and if you attend his lecture, you can question him on what he intends to say. So, and it's an excellent point, and he's trying to say that rural India doesn't make it to the front page of newspapers unless there are tragedies, and India has a lot of tragedies. But the good things that are happening in rural India never make it to the front pages. So Sainath now is really trying to look at this knowledge base and all the wonderful things that are happening in rural India and to document them. And this is where he's now got this People's Archive of Rural India, which I think is a very important thing for all of India to know about. So that's one public lecture, and then the other one is by Ananya Vajpayee. She's a historian currently based in Delhi and has written fabulous books on the history of people who have contributed to India's independence. And I will recommend to all of you to read her wonderful books. She's currently working on a book looking at Sanskrit in the modern age. So we all know that India has this very talk about. So as Umesh said, our academy wants to build up the knowledge capital of our country. We talked about atomic energy and capital. There were many speakers in the morning who talked about how important and the strides that India has made. But I think that we need to think of knowledge as power. So we heard about atomic power, but maybe the slogan really should be, knowledge is the power that India can have. And we've got so many minds, young minds, that, can generate this knowledge and therefore can be powerhouses in their own right. So this is what the Academy stands for. We stand for knowledge, and we stand for knowledge that has been ethically and rigorously obtained. And we are very, very, very determined to make sure that the ethics of science is not violated. So I'll stop here and maybe...
The engineers, I'm coming from engineering background, and we engineers are there because of science. If science would not have been there with us, we would not have created these beautiful products here. So I think importance of fundamental science, everybody knows. But I think during these next 3 days, probably if we start thinking of how to use this science for our day-to-day problems, solving day-to-day problems, and doing something for society, I think that would be the great thing to happen. our faculty, as our president sir said, that they are highly qualified, and I had a chance. I joined only 2 months ago, so when I'm interacting with faculty over here, they are so good. I am so impressed that they have such a wonderful work which they have done in recent past, which can certainly get converted into some technologies, and our focus now will be on converting that, taking that research up to that level. Commercialization of research and technology transfers, there we are going to focus a lot more, and our next agenda would be the innovation and entrepreneurship, where I told in the morning also that already 12 startups have come up with a cumulative revenue of 22 crores. Our students are really doing good, and I could see an energy in our students. We just need to find those crazy minds and use them to convert that science into technology transfers, as well as science. From science they can start even businesses also. A couple of years ago, I was in the University of Cambridge. I was sitting in a Cavendish lab, and I was interacting with a couple of PhD scholars. Before they were graduating, they already had their startups each. So I think that is the culture we need to create now. I think we are on the right path, and surely in next 5 years or so, you will see many things happening on our campus. Thank you very much.
Very great opportunity, because I think I never miss mid-year meeting and annual meeting during my associate time, because I feel that is a big opportunity to interact with the scientist. And more importantly, I have grown in SRM. My career has been grown in SRM. So that proves that SRM is a university which allow the faculty to grow. And that has been recognized by Indian Academy of Science. That means SRM has a power to develop young scientists and young mind in this particular ecosystem which India need. So thank you very much. Yeah.